What's good and what up? It's your brother SamAnt. Hear it viral. Hip hop news. Do me a favor, family, before we get started with the content. Y'all know what to do. Go up top and hit that like button. Alright, so the late, great Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, passed away in August. We talked about it on the Uncensored Truth Podcast that the IRS was coming after millions and millions of dollars from Aretha Franklin's estate owed in back taxes. A couple weeks ago, I said, talk to our man, Aboriginal consultant, Khonsu Shesmu in regards to the situation. I'm going to play his response and how Aretha Franklin could have possibly gotten out of this situation. But before that, I wanted to tell you some unfortunate news that TMZ got. Law enforcement tells TMZ that a criminal probe discovered that someone had been using Aretha Franklin's funds. The exact amount that had been siphoned and used was not disclosed. The original report pertaining to the funds was filed last June, just 2 months before she passed away. The investigation into Franklin's funds will continue, but the IRS and legal fees threaten to take whatever money her estate has stored away. Very, very sad news. We talked about it, how unfortunately you pass away and you may leave this earth, but your debt and your taxes don't. They've dropped that down to your estate. They dropped that down to your family. A real sad situation. I asked the brother Khonsu Shesmu, Aboriginal Consulting, about this situation and how Miss Aretha Franklin could have avoided situations like this and how her family could have avoided debt. He went into great detail, very common sense stuff that was almost startling to me how easy it was to protect yourself against things like this. Check out the content on the back and make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Movement Viral Hip Hop News, the Uncensored Truth Podcast, and more. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Without further ado, brother Khonsu Shesmu, let's go. I don't know if you heard the situation with Aretha Franklin, may she rest in peace. Taxes. IRS is coming for $8 million plus, and they say they want their money. Real unfortunate situation. We elaborated on it very briefly on the Uncensored Truth Podcast a couple days ago, but we'd love to hear your perspective on the ramifications behind what's going on with Miss Aretha Franklin and her family right now.
Yeah, that's poor estate management. Wills and probates go hand in hand. To prevent probate court, it should have been some things that were placed in a trust. And it probably was because the family was not as close as they should have been. I think early on, Aretha hadn't left any money to anybody because she probably knew the situation that she was in as she became ill. And it's unfortunate, but the IRS is not in the position to be understanding about something like that. As an artist and anyone in business and life in general, don't take your health for granted. Get life insurance. Make sure you have a will set up and make sure you have a trust. And when you have your will and trust set up, assign a trustee in the form of an attorney to make sure that your business is distributed and handled properly upon your demise. Do this while you are young. Do not wait until you're Aretha Franklin's age. Do this now while you are healthy, man. It's very important. Estate planning is vital.
So we all know health insurance isn't even really that. It's not that difficult to grab. It's very simple. So you're meaning to tell me that it's something as simple as life insurance could have protected the Queen of Soul that easily, and it's something that kind of mishap that has her $8 million in the hole? That's insane.
Yes, because life insurance money cannot be taxed. So if she would have put it in a policy, if she said, look, I got $80 million worth of life insurance, the IRS would not have even been able to touch it, period, because it's tax deferrable. It's non-taxable. So if she would have, and that's what happens with our culture, we're not educated on that stuff. If she would have created what is called a family limited partnership with a trustee in place, they could have administered it as beneficiary, as benefits, and they would have been non-taxable. So she could have done that. She could have protected that all in life and just life insurance. There's other vehicles you could have put it in. You could have put it in nonprofit activities. You could have set up LLCs. It's a lot of things that you could have done, man. It gets very elaborate when it comes to corporate infrastructure. But unfortunately, our people, African American people, we are not educated on commerce. We're not educated on wealth and perpetuating wealth through estate. We're not educated on those things. But yes, man, life insurance cannot be taxed Even if you owe taxes, when that disbursement comes to your loved ones, they can't touch it. It's beneficiary money.
Yeah, that's very deep. Any advice that you would like to give? I know you said a lot early on, to new artists, but any advice, because we have a lot of up and coming artists that watch us, that are looking to get into the game. What advice would you give to them starting day one, because they're trying to make it big? Give them some advice, please.
Yeah, day one, start an LLC. Start a limited liability corporation. Day two, open up a business account, a bank account, DBA. Day three, create your own personal account, checking account, savings account. Day four, once you establish all of those things, get an attorney. These are, in the first 4 days, that's what you need to do. Have your business affairs in place, because the music is the music. You're already an artist. Now, day 5, make sure your ASCAP or BMI. Day 6, make sure your publishing is in place. And that last day of the week, start your websites, start your own music and distribution company. Be your own Netflix. Be your own, distributor by going to Apple and Spotify on your own and publishing and digitizing your own music.
To elaborate on that real quick, so my bad, oh God. So is it safe to say, or what's your percentage that you would estimate the success rate that an artist would have signing now to a major or independent label?
Maybe about 40%.
And that's for the good ones. If we're talking,
and that's a top label. That's if you're lucky. Because the label is not going to push out music the way you think you're going to get it. You're going to get put on the shelf. It's a pecking order. If you can't generate a buzz, they're not going to help you with the buzz because it's a 360 deal. So you got to generate your own buzz. They're going to give you a budget and you're going to be stuck because you got to choose, am I going to spend this money on a social media platform, or am I going to spend it on collaborations, or am I going to spend it on studio time and recording time and the right engineers? Because you're only going to have so much money, but you're going to have to deal with all these choices. And you got to spread that money out, because a top level artist collabo with you, the average artist that's top 10, that's $40,000 for 16 bars. Easy for artists to come in. And that's if they show up. They take half your money, play with you, don't show up, and say, sue me. Now you stuck. Those kind of pitfalls that happen to an independent artist that's under a label, that they don't see those angles coming because they caught up in, I can get in the BET Awards. My face is in these publications, not realizing that those are third-party franchise relationships, and you just there to market the label. They don't really care about you. You walking into the BET Awards because you representing that label. You not special. You ain't even got a hit on the charts, and you think everybody thinking about you. They not.